If you've kept up with popular music in the past few years, there's a good chance you've heard of BTS. The seven-member Korean pop group has taken the international music world by storm, and with the recent success of their album Arirang, they show no signs of stopping anytime soon. But like all musicians, they had to start somewhere and haven't always had the success they have today. BTS, which stands for Bangtansonyundan and translates to Bulletproof Boy Scouts, started out as a hip-hop group in 2013. Their lyrics discussed problems that young people faced in South Korea. But it wasn't until 2015 with songs like I Need You and Run that they began to find success in the Korean music industry. This was due to a decision to change the group's sound to a pop sound instead of hip-hop. BTS didn't just have a new style of music. They also pioneered a new way to connect with fans through a fictional narrative universe. This universe, called the Hwa universe, or simply the BTS universe, depicts the seven members as fictional versions of themselves as they face the hardships of youth and life. This narrative universe not only allowed BTS to connect with their fans on a deeper level, but it also created a cycle in which fans responded to the content put out by the company, and the company in turn responded to the fans' creations. Though the seven main characters of the BTS universe share the same real names as the members, the BTS universe is entirely fictional. The narrative starts when the seven of them meet in high school and become very close, often getting up to some delinquent shenanigans. They begin to drift apart, however, as they begin to graduate, especially after the oldest boy, Seokjun, moves abroad. A few years later, Seokjun returns to South Korea but finds his friends in some rather dire circumstances. Namjoon gets arrested after getting into a fight with a customer at the gas station he works at. Jungkook contemplates suicide as a result of isolation from his friends. Yoongi sets himself and a room on fire as a result of depression and trauma he faced when his mother died in a house fire. Taehyung gets arrested for stabbing his abusive father. Hoseok has trauma from child abandonment and also has narcolepsy, which caused him to faint on the side of a busy street. Jimin also has childhood trauma, and his parents have placed him in a mental hospital. After failing to save his friends, Seokjun awakes in a strange room and discovers that he has time traveled a few weeks into the past. The rest of the narrative revolves around a Groundhog Day type situation, in which Seokjun must relive the same few weeks over and over again in order to save all of his friends in time. The BTS universe started out in 2015 with the release of music videos and collections of diary entries called the Notes. These notes were released with the physical CDs and contained dated diary entries from the fictional characters. The BTS universe is an example of transmedia storytelling, which media studies scholar Nicole Lamerick describes as, quote, an overarching narrative and fictional world across media platforms. During the early years of the BTS universe, this is very apparent, as the music videos provided the visual language for the film and depicted the main events, while the notes provided specific plot details and information about character relationships. The transmedia narrative structure was a great tool for BTS to drive fan engagement beyond just listening to music. This content prompted fans to piece together the narrative for themselves, and it was a common topic of discussion on social media sites like Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. This greater level of social media engagement helped grow their fan base, and they began to find more international success during this time period. Fan videos piecing together the overall timeline of the BTS universe were very common in 2017 to 2018, like this one from Celeste and this one from Sugar Spice 5151 that has almost 1 million views. These videos often described the personalities and relationships of the characters and presented a chronological timeline of events. Details like how many times Seokjun goes to the time loop and how the story actually ends were contested amongst fans, but the main events that I described earlier were consistent in every fan interpretation. Even in the comment section of these videos, fans continued to discuss theories and add specific plot details to the timelines presented. This time period of the BTS universe was a great example of co-authorship, as fans created a generally agreed-upon narrative through countless social media interactions. For 4 years, these fan videos were the only way for new fans to learn about the BTS universe in its entirety all in one place. This changed, however, in 2019 when BTS's company released the Save Me webtoon, which was the first time the company had presented a chronological canon timeline. Fans quickly noticed that the main events presented in the comic were the exact same ones that they had in their own videos, with a few minor changes. The main one being that the comic provided an official ending, in which Seokjin realizes he must rely on his friends to also save each other instead of doing it all himself. This comic also created a new wave of fan videos, as fans updated their previous timelines using the new information from the comic. This cycle would continue for a few years as BTS's company released a web drama and a mobile app that allowed users to create their own interactive stories in the BTS universe. Around this time was also when BTS started to take off internationally. They began to perform at American awards shows, talk shows, and they had their first stadium tour. It was important more than ever for fans to use social media to spread information about translations, the BTS universe, and Korean culture. In this way, the BTS universe can be considered an example of transnational storytelling, which media studies scholar Hyunji Lee discusses in her PhD thesis about Korean fandoms. She says that fandoms related to K-pop and Korean drama shows are, quote, participatory and collaborative, since fans become an important part of filling in the gap in their media culture by spreading Korean media content and contributing to the collective creation of knowledge. Many aspects of Korean culture are present in the BTS universe, so it was important for fans to show this cultural context in addition to just the text translations. An example of this is that the Korean language uses an honorific system, in which people are referred to by specific titles based on gender, age, profession, and more. This appears in the BTS universe when characters refer to each other as hyung, which is used when younger men are talking to their older male friends. This spread of cultural knowledge ensured that fans understood BTS's Korean identity. Part of BTS's appeal even today is that they embrace their cultural roots. Overall, the BTS universe used a unique transmedia narrative structure to create a cycle of engagement between fans and the company. Social media was a vital tool in spreading fan theories and narratives as well as translations in important Korean cultural contexts. The level of co-authorship granted to fans of the BTS universe created a tight-knit yet very large community that still supports BTS to this day. Using transmedia narratives can be beneficial for any music group that wants to create a new level of fan engagement beyond just listening to music. Many K-pop groups have since created their own fictional universes, but it wouldn't have been possible without the story of one young man traveling through time to save his friends from the hurt of the world.